Get this. What if I told you that after all the billions of dollars poured into artificial intelligence, the vast majority of companies are seeing zero productivity gains? Yeah, that's not a guess. That's the reality from a survey of 6,000 executives. It's a shocking disconnect, right? All at investment and nothing to show for it. And yet the AI arms race is only getting hotter. This is your Essential Tech Briefing, where we've sifted through over 2,400 news articles from the last 24 hours just for you. Today, we're decoding the massive hardware deals that are totally reshaping the industry, India's incredible surge as a new AI power, the future of AI that you can actually wear, and the growing intense pressure on big tech. All right, let's dive in, starting with a rapid-fire bulletin of today's top stories. First up, the AI infrastructure arms race just kicked into a whole new gear. Nvidia and Meta just signed a colossal deal. We're talking a nearly insatiable demand for computing power, fueling everything from the metaverse to whatever next-gen AI models they're dreaming up. Meanwhile, a new global AI hub is officially plugging in. India's national AI mission? Well, it's not just some plan on paper. No, this is a heavily backed, full-scale deployment with Nvidia right at the heart of it, all aimed at creating their own sovereign AI capabilities. Okay, so from the global stage, let's bring it right down to your personal space. Apple is moving fast on AI-powered wearables. This signals a whole new potential product category that could completely change how we interact with technology every single day. Of course, the human side of this tech explosion is front and center too. Mark Zuckerberg is literally on the stand, facing some really tough questions as the legal and regulatory pressure on big tech just hits a boiling point over its impact on society. And finally, a huge warning sign. Bad actors are already weaponizing AI, and critical systems are getting exposed. This highlights a really dangerous truth. We're adopting AI way faster than we're learning how to secure it. So with that, let's get into our main story. Because you have to understand, this isn't just about clever software anymore. The real foundational battle happening right now is for the raw physical power needed to run AI. It is all about the hardware. Now, what's so wild about this is just the sheer scale. We're not talking about a one-off purchase. This is a multi-generational, multi-million chip commitment from Meta to Nvidia. This basically secures Meta's place at the very front of the line for years to come and cements Nvidia's almost unbelievable dominance in the market. This is what geopolitical power looks like in 2024. It's not just armies anymore, it's stacks and stacks of chips. So here's the crucial point. Access to AI chips isn't just a technical issue anymore. It's the #1 strategic priority for any company or country with global ambitions. And this single factor is creating a brand new world order, dividing everyone into the AI haves and the have-nots. And where strategy goes, money always follows. So let's see how this hardware arms race is creating these massive ripple effects all across the financial markets. It's becoming pretty clear who's set to win this game. On one side, you have the hardware providers like Nvidia, the big buyers like Meta, and the nimble AI startups who can leverage all this new power. On the other side, well, anyone who can't secure a supply of chips is at a major disadvantage. And isn't it ironic? At the exact same moment companies like Meta are spending billions to secure their future in AI, they're also facing these intense new headwinds from regulators over their current business. But here's that critical counterpoint we started with. For all this money and all this momentum, is it actually working? This quote is a stark reality check. Billions are being spent on the promise of AI, but for 80% of companies, that promise has not translated into any measurable results. It just shows a massive gap between buying the tech and actually integrating it successfully. So you have to ask, are we in a hype bubble? That question, hype versus reality, brings us to the most important metric of all. How does this affect real people? How does it affect you and your career? Let's break down the human impact of these developments. The impact is definitely being felt differently all across the board. For developers, the feeling is overwhelmingly positive. All these new tools and models are basically supercharging what they can do. Investors, though, they're getting cautious. That lack of proven ROI we just talked about is making them pretty wary. Enterprises and startups are kind of caught in the middle, feeling both the opportunity and this immense pressure to keep up. Meanwhile, consumers are pretty neutral, trying to balance the potential cool benefits against rising privacy concerns. And governments, they're just scrambling to put some governance frameworks in place to manage all the risks.
Now, let's zoom way out. This isn't just a corporate race, it's a global one. Let's take a look at the new geopolitical map of AI that's literally being drawn right now.
We're seeing three very distinct strategies emerge. The US continues to lead in innovation, but its tech giants are facing intense scrutiny at home. India is all about growth and ambition, seriously positioning itself as the world's next great AI hub, with massive government support. And the EU is carving out a role for itself as the world's regulator, focused on managing risk, even if it's at the expense of speed. So why does this matter? Because these aren't just policies, they're three competing visions for the future of technology and society. How these three approaches interact, whether they decide to collaborate and set global standards or conflict over digital sovereignty, that is going to define the rules for AI for everyone on the planet. Okay, we've covered the what and the why. Now for the most important part. What do you do about it? Here is your actionable playbook based on everything we've seen. All right, here's your playbook. For developers, focus on mastering the new agentic AI tools. These are the autonomous systems that can actually execute complex tasks. They're your biggest leverage point. For founders, look at aligning with national missions like India's. That's where the support and the funding is going to be. Enterprise leaders, that chip shortage is real. You need to secure your AI hardware supply chain now, or you risk being left behind. For investors, demand proof. Validate those productivity claims before you write that check. And finally, for security teams, assume you are a target. You need to prioritize defenses against AI-powered attacks, like yesterday.
And finally, let's look ahead. Based on all the signals from the last 24 hours, where is all this headed?
In the short term, expect more massive hardware deals, more regulatory crackdowns, and, unfortunately, more AI-driven security threats. But looking out a bit further, the midterm picture shows India's AI ecosystem really maturing into a global force. And those AI wearables from companies like Apple, they could very well become mainstream consumer products. Which leaves us with one final critical question. As AI stops being just software and becomes the fundamental infrastructure of our world, like electricity or the internet, who exactly is going to control the switches? Visit newbite.tech for more tech news and bites.